The Armenian Genocide. The Armenian Genocide took place in the Ottoman Empire, Izmir, Sivas, Mu, and Deir ez-Zor. It started April 24th, 1915 in Istanbul, which is located in the Ottoman Empire. An article called Armenian Genocide says it started in early 1915 when the Young Turk regime rounded up hundreds of Armenians and hung them in the streets of Istanbul. Over the next 3 years, hundreds and thousands of Armenian people were deported from their homes. These deportations consisted of death marches into the desert. The Armenians died from dehydration, starvation, and disease. They were also tortured, raped, and killed along the way. The Armenian Genocide resulted in up to 1.5 million Armenians massacred. After the Ottomans lost the First Balkan War, Christians were accused of treachery by the CUP. And since the Armenians were mostly Christians, a lot of them were accused as well and treated poorly. The Ottomans were defeated by Russia in the Battle of Sarıkamış. The Young Turk government tried to shift the blame from the Ottoman commanders to their Armenian soldiers. In their success, the Young Turk government then stripped the non-Muslim soldiers of their guns and sent them to labor battalions, where they would be murdered by Ottoman troops. This was only the beginning of the Armenian Genocide, with the Armenian men being stripped of their guns and sent to labor battalions. Those men were later killed by Ottoman soldiers. After that, irregular Ottoman forces began mass killings in Armenian villages. The Armenians began to be taken from their homes and marched straight to desert concentration camps. The Armenians were murdered, raped, and some starved along the way to the camps. Up to 1 million died or were murdered en route, according to the article Armenian Genocide. Many of those who made it alive to the concentration camps died from starvation. This continued for 3 years, and by the time World War I was over, 1918, almost all traces of Armenian people had been erased from the Ottoman Empire. Timeline of Armenian Genocide. This genocide was similar to the Holocaust because just like during the Holocaust, there were marches. Elie Wiesel mentions multiple times in his book called Night that the Jews were forced to march, often for long hours and fast with no rest. This genocide was also similar to the Holocaust because both the Armenians and the Jews were deported or taken from their homes and sent to concentration camps. The Armenian Genocide could have been prevented if the Ottoman Empire owned up to their loss in the Sarıkamış War against the Russians. The Young Turk government should have been turned down by the people, and there should have been an acknowledgement to their actions before it starts and prevent it. It is also important because you get to know a little more about world history and how fast people can blame and how fast blame or inacceptance of culture or religion turns into murder and soon can be identified as a genocide.